Okay, MegaWhale team, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you're all having a fantastic day. In today's video, we are taking a look at the recent explosive breakout of the macro descending downtrend, as well as taking a look at the retest and breakout of 72,000, discussing the implications of this move on the macro charts, the short-term price action, Bitcoin dominance, altcoins, the total market cap, and so much more. By the end of today's video, you will have a detailed understanding of the macro charts and exactly what is happening and what to expect on the short-term price action. Before we get into it, smash that like button, hit that comment button, and subscribe to the channel. We post daily videos for Bitcoin focusing on the facts, the data, the technical, and the structural information. No hype, no BS, no emotion, pure raw TA. If that is the kind of content you were interested in, join us on Telegram. It is the first link down below. You will get access to charts, updates, videos, educational posts, news events, and everything you need to stay in the loop with cryptocurrency with Bitcoin and the relevant economic news. And if you were interested in taking your trading to the next level, we have a VIP sale at the moment. 44 months our VIP channel has been going on for an 80.97% win rate. We post trading setups with exact entries, exact targets, exact stop losses, trade justification, exclusive analysis, and so much more. You'll also get access to all of our group chats, our general chat, our trading chart and education chat, our news, help, daily video, and trade setup chat. Check it out, guys, if you're interested by clicking the pinned comment in the free channel or this message and clicking my name. You can find our entire trading track record and a video showing you inside the VIP channel if you click the membership detail link. Check it out and let's dive on in. So as we can see, Bitcoin has had an impressive move toward the upside. Now, we have been saying, and I hate to be the person who says this, but we have been saying for 8 months, 8 full months, every single time these lows were retested, we were saying this is a bullish consolidation pattern. It is a descending channel formation. We are expecting an eventual breakout toward the upside. We have also told you that at the point of which we broke above 66,000, we were expecting that to be the breakout that would eventually take us into a new all-time high, and we are seeing this play out. So first and foremost, a big congratulations to everyone has been following. If you did follow our bottom prediction at 49K right over here, you are up 50% on your spot positions for Bitcoin, which is absolutely huge. But over the past 24 hours, we have seen that breakout, which we saw the day before yesterday, continue. It has continued toward the upside, eventually reaching that 72,000 major resistance. Now, this level of resistance has acted as a rejection point 4 prior times in this horizontal region, and we have now finally actually seen a break above this level, as well as in 3 minutes time a daily candle close. If we zoom over to the short-term time frame really quickly, we can see an aggressive uptrend did commence upon the breakout of this daily downtrend we discussed in our prior video. We told you guys on the prior video that a break of this diagonal trend line would result in an explosive move for Bitcoin, hence the title, an explosive move incoming, and we saw that explosive move take us up to 72,000. We're going to be discussing exactly what is happening here. Will this trend sustain? Are we going to see corrections? And if so, how low will those corrections take us? We'll also be taking a look at the total market cap, Bitcoin dominance, and the altcoin market cap, and of course the macro chart. So let's start on the market data. 24-hour volume up 59%, 98 billion. 24-hour liquidations 67% up in the last 24 hours. Actually, it's just adjusted. We're sitting at 51% up in the last 24 hours now at 256 million. And of the 256 million in liquidations, 191 million have come from shorts and 65 million have come from longs. Again, the volume is actually at 183 billion, up 22%. Moving over to the DXY. The DXY is still sitting above that major point of resistance, looking like it is testing or coming down for a test of support. Again, we expect 2 things. Number 1, a continuation into these highs. Number 2, if we break below this level of support, we expect a significant correction for the DXY over the next few months into that 100 region. Again, we are leaning towards a macro continuation downwards to around about this 96 region over the next 5 to 10 months. Again, it does take a long time for this to play out. We do have more interest rate reductions coming in the future, and that would likely result in the DXY slowly and surely moving towards that target. Again, this is incredibly bullish for Bitcoin and for risk assets. Moving over to the S&P 500, still looking very, very good with 2 days on the weekly close, sitting at that 5,800 region. Again, provided we remain above these weekly highs, we are expecting 6,000 for the S&P 500. Only a break below these weekly highs would result in a continuation lower. And that is it for the broader market updates, guys. Let's go ahead and get stuck into the analysis. Now, before you do, if you are interested in getting 15% discounts on all your trading fees for life, you can sign up to the links down below to BitGet, BitUnix, or BingX. Use those exchanges with the links down below to get the 15% off. You'll support yourself in your trading, support me making these videos, and of course, support the channel. Check it out, we'll play an ad, and we'll jump back in. I'd like to introduce our partner, BitUnix. BitUnix is a global, non-KYC, no country restriction exchange, making it a perfect exchange to trade on if you're from the USA, from Canada, the Netherlands, or just prefer to trade without KYC. This exchange is a futures and spot exchange with over 200 different trading pairs and some of the lowest fees in the game. If you sign up with my link down below, you'll get access to 15% off your trading fees, as well as an exclusive reward center where you can claim up to a multitude in USDT prizes. So go ahead and sign up with my link down below for 15% off, and I'll see you in there. Okay guys, let's go ahead and get stuck back in. So starting on the daily chart, as we can see, we have just had a daily candle close for Bitcoin at the price point of 72,746. This is officially the second highest daily candle close in the history of Bitcoin's price action. Absolutely insane stuff over here. Now, this daily close is very important as we were able to close above the critical level of resistance at 72 to 71.2 thousand, as we mentioned in the intro. Now, while we are in this channel, or should I say, while we have broken out of this channel, the expectation is that we see a directional continuation into an all-time high. If we take a measured move of our range high to our range low, which is essentially the depth of the channel, and we apply that to the breakout point of the channel, we can see that is taking us to an expected target of 85,000. We do still expect that move. We are expecting an eventual continuation into the 85,000 range. Now, that does not mean Bitcoin is going to see one vertical candle upwards. It does not mean Bitcoin is prone, or should I say immune, to seeing short-term corrections before these continuations. It just means that the eventual expectation, while the current trend holds, and the current trend is going to be this diagonal uptrend, while the current trend holds, Bitcoin is expecting to see continuations into 85,000. So that for now is our target. At what point would we revise that target? At what point would we be concerned that Bitcoin is not going to see the continuation upwards? We're going to answer that very quickly. For us to flip bearish on Bitcoin now, one thing needs to happen, and that is what needed to happen last week. It is the level at 66.5. It is the prior daily high. If we look at the price action, ever since the 49K low. Now, we told you the bottom was at 49K. Everyone was panicking. Everyone was in fear. We posted it publicly on Twitter. We believe the bottom was in. We stand by that because at the 49K level, something massive happened in the price action. We saw two segments of price action. Segment 1 was the first 5 months. Segment 3 was the last 3 to 4 months. In segment 1, we saw lower highs printing on Bitcoin and lower lows printing on Bitcoin. In segment 2, what have we seen? We have been seeing something very different. We have been seeing higher lows printing on Bitcoin and higher highs. This is an indication that the buyers are in control of the trend and the sellers have exhausted. And this is why we have been so confident in this breakout and continuation to 85, 83, 84 for essentially since that 90k region, because we noticed that during this period, the shift of control occurred between the sellers and the buyers. A descending channel formation is a representation that over a period of time, sellers eventually exhaust, selling momentum dries up, and buying pressure eventually takes control as the sellers are unable to push the price down for much longer. If you recall back to a few months ago, we were telling you that although this trend was lasting a long time, the actual angle of the downtrend was not very steep. It was a weak downtrend. It was just a wide downtrend. It was a downtrend of large volatility, but in terms of depth and in terms of the angle of the trend, it was quite small. So it was a weak downtrend, but it was a volatile downtrend, which caused a lot of money to flow out of the market when Bitcoin saw these massive swings, particularly for altcoins. If we move over to the weekly chart very quickly, we can see that again, ever since we saw that weekly RSI breakout, we'll draw it in, ever since the momentum on the RSI flipped positive, or should I say the momentum flipped positive, and the RSI is just an expression of momentum. Ever since we saw that positive momentum shift, which was right over here on this weekly candle close, we have seen the price action continue upwards, now nearly 16%. Again, an indication that the buyers are in control of this move and that the sellers that were present up until that point have now exhausted. The bulls are in control. There is literally zero reason to be high time frame bearish in this price action. It is just a question now, will this hold up? Are we going to see short-term pullbacks? And if so, at what point are we looking for reversals? Again, to say it one more time, for this price action to flip bearish, this daily high needs to be lost. We have been creating higher lows, okay? When we break one of those higher lows, that is when this trend shifts. So upon the breakdown of one of these higher lows, this trend will shift back downwards. Again, we are not macro bearish unless 60,000 is lost. We'll take you to this chart. This is going to be our weekly chart with our Gaussian channel in Ichimoku Cloud. We can see that while we remain above the upper band of the Gaussian channel and leading span A of the Ichimoku Cloud, we are in a macro uptrend. We have seen in prior cycles that upon the breakdown of both of those levels, we enter a macro downtrend. Upon the breakdown of both of those levels, we enter a macro downtrend. Upon the breakdown of both of those levels, we enter a macro downtrend. And therefore, while we are sitting above those levels, it is wise to assume the trend will continue upwards. And that is what we've been saying this entire time. Sorry, I just hit the mic. But that is what we've been saying this entire time, guys. So pay very close attention. Now, let's discuss short-term price action. We've talked about the macro charts. We talked about how we're bullish. We talked about the targets. We talked about, what needs to happen for this chart to turn bearish. But let's discuss what is happening right now. Let's go into the short-term charts, because after every explosive move, people start to ape in significant sums of money. They see green candles and they think it is going to go up forever. And although we are macro bullish, the risk of short-term corrections is very, very real. Let's take a look at the hourly chart firstly. This is going to be our hourly chart. Again, ever since we broke out of that major downtrend, this weekly downtrend, we have seen a significant rally upwards. We are now starting to see some signs of bearish divergences. In fact, this is our first bearish divergence since we broke out of this uptrend on the hourly. Bearish divergence simply meaning the price action is rising and momentum is falling. This generally indicates that the exhaustion is setting in and the sellers are kind of starting to drop the ball, which essentially means, buyers are starting to drop the ball, which essentially means sellers are stepping in to try push the price action down. We can also see with our RSI uptrend over here, the momentum trend is breaking down. We had a bit of a dent in the armor on this recent drop, but we are starting to slowly break down. If we are watching the hourly charts right over here, I would be watching for a loss of this low at 72.3. If we drop below 72.3, I'd then be watching one very important level, and that is going to be 71.2 to 70.8. Now, the reason this level is so important is because that marks the lowest point of this high time frame resistance. 71.2 is right over here, this orange line. So we could see a correction into there, create a new higher low, and then continue upwards. Now, if we drop below this region, we can see we enter a massive VRPV gap, which could take us down to 68.8 to 69,000. It is very likely if we drop below 70.8, we enter this range and we create a new support somewhere around 70,000. So I'll draw out what I think is going to happen. We're going to see a few scenarios. Number one is we drop below this, we head into our region, we bounce and we continue upwards. Number two, we drop below this, we head into our support level, we fail to hold and we move to 70,000 where we establish a new area of support very close, if not just under 72,000, maybe around this point at 69.6 thousand before we continue upwards. Those are the scenarios I am watching for. For the bearish divergence to be invalidated on the short term, we need to see a bullish structure develop. Now that can take quite some time to develop, which will require some degree of chop to continue. But even if we see swings back upwards over here, the momentum is still going to be falling. So unless we take that bearish divergence we're developing, which will go back to the hour, and we eradicate that divergence by breaking above this trend line right over here, the RSI flips above that trend line, we are likely going to eventually see some sort of short-term correction. If we eradicate that and break that trend line, it tells us that the sellers were trying to push the price down, they were unsuccessful at breaking these lows, and the momentum has now flipped back positive, which could facilitate continuations back toward the upside. So short-term assessment, short-term bearish, macro exceptionally bullish, short-term bearish, looking for reversals toward the upside, not for macro continuations downwards. Moving over to the total to market cap, exceptional, broken out, macro bullish. Cryptocurrency is yet again bullish. We're going to start to see a lot of hype coming in again. Total market cap for altcoins, really not there yet. Very close. Very, very close. There are two scenarios for altcoins. Altcoins need to break its current horizontal range. This is going to be a chop range we are in. We can see we're in a chop range. Now, alternatively, we can also see that we have an uptrend. So we have this pinching occurring into the range high, meaning while we are above this trend, we expect continuations higher, okay? Where are we looking? We've got a weak high at 7.7. We've got the strong high at 7.6. So 760 billion is going to be the target upon the breakout of this horizontal range. However, if we drop below, guys, we drop below this uptrend on the short term, we could see one more altcoin correction into the lows, deviate the lows, and then build that continuation into the highs. Now, if we see the deviation to lows, I'm expecting an extended move upwards to 800 billion instead of 760 billion. If we break directly here, I would expect a move into 760 before a correction to flip 700 and then a continuation in instead of a direct clean break. Now again, I am leaning towards a potential correction here for altcoins simply because we are at resistance and I do not like to be bullish on anything at resistance. I'd much rather have a more of a downside, you know, optimism. I don't even know what I'm saying over there. I don't know how to pronounce that word, but we're looking for a downside move. I'm a trader, not an English teacher. We're looking for a downside move over here for altcoins if this trend line breaks, okay? So entry point for altcoins in the range low. We are looking for explosive moves upwards if the range high breaks. So I'm going to leave it there, guys. I think that covers about everything. Thank you for tuning in. Again, thanks for listening to the charts. The charts tell you everything you need. You don't need to sit there looking at news events, looking at all this crap. The charts have all the information you need to understand what is happening and project what is likely to occur. Just because something is likely to occur doesn't mean it's going to happen. Trading analysis is not about reading the future. We're not sitting with crystal balls. We are simply watching how the market is responding, watching what people are doing, watching how people are buying or selling, looking at historical trends and data, And using all of this as confluence to then project what is more likely to occur in the future, okay? So in this instance, congratulations, we saw a fantastic breakout. Personally, I am going to take a small amount of profit on my Bitcoin spot over here. Again, if you've been following the channel, we got our Bitcoin spot positions at what, 16.5K. Look, if you don't believe us, we'll show you right over here. Let's go to our channel over here. Let's scroll up a little bit over here. We can show you the exact messages we've got at those spot positions. I might have to scroll up a fair bit to find it. I don't want to waste too much time. I can't find, here it is. Okay, perfect. You can see right over here, this was June 2022. We got our scam wick that we were looking for, 16.5K for our Bitcoin spot bags. So, you know, pretty good entry, pretty good exit, even if you're taking profits. Thanks for tuning in. Catch you guys in the next video. See you then.